What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today is the day. It has finally happened. We have it on the bottom. It has been done. The Jets are benching Justin Fields in favor of Tyrod Taylor for at least the Baltimore Ravens, if not for the rest of the season. I know some people are out there talking about Brady Cook to get a read on him, but regardless, it is not Justin Fields as QB1 for the New York Jets moving forward. And listen, honestly, this is part of the reason why you need to get down with Jets Latest, okay? I tell you all the time, watch these videos, like these videos, subscribe to the Jets Latest channel, tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend, and click on that join button and you could become a Jets Latest insider where you get exclusive content, all sorts of other perks as we go through the 2025 season and beyond. And this is what I have been saying. If you are a day one Jets Latest guy like my man Old Dave, you know I have been saying that the true purpose of this 2025 season is really to know, question A, do we like Glenn and Moshe? Do we have faith and confidence in them moving forward for a turnaround? Number two, do we think Justin Fields is the guy? I am confident in question one. I think Aaron Glenn is the guy for the job. I like what Darren Mougie has done in the draft with some of the trades that have been made. And now we know the Jets' answer to question number two. No, it is not Justin Fields as the long-term answer at quarterback, right? And now, because of this, the other question that has to be answered, and what other people are now starting to say, which I have said here on Jets Latest, is that it's about getting an evaluation of the rest of the roster, okay? It is about getting an evaluation on specifically these younger pass catchers who we've either drafted or acquired via trade. I'm talking about Arian Smith. I'm talking about Adonai Mitchell. I'm talking about John Mechie. I'm talking about Mason Taylor. We know that the passing game is blunt guts trash, absolutely putrid for the Jets under Justin Fields, right? They average under 140 yards per game. That would be the lowest in the NFL since 2022, since the Bears averaged 130 yards a game. Guess who their quarterback was? Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields went for under 60 yards passing in 4 of the 9 games, okay? But here's the thing. In order to evaluate the rest of the talent, and this is the point I have been making recently, I've been making all along, and now you're starting to hear other people out there in Jets universe, out there on social media say the same thing, is that this is not about Justin Fields. This is about evaluating everybody, quite frankly, including the defense, right? You have to see what a defense can do when we can play field position that's so important for the Jets under Aaron Glenn, when we can play time of possession and running the ball, efficient passing. Are there going to be turnovers? Maybe. Isn't going to look amazing? Maybe not. But at least with Tyrod Taylor giving us competent quarterback play, right? We can see what these young pass catchers do. We can see what this defense does. We can see what this run game can do even more if there is a threat of the passing game. And that's the kind of evaluation that needs to happen. And it was as much as Jeremy Ruckert, the tight end out of Ohio State, Justin Fields' former Buckeye teammate, said, Tyrod's a seasoned professional. You know what you're going to get from him. And that's kind of what I think is the biggest part of all this. This gives us an ability to evaluate and then move forward into the offseason, whether it's the wide receivers, whether it's do we want to bring Breece Hall back, whether it's things on defense. And quite frankly, as you know, after the trade of Sauce Gardner, after the trade of Quinnen Williams, we've got a lot of draft capital to do it. So let's talk about that, okay? Here is your update on what the Jets draft capital is after this point of the season, after 10 weeks of the season. The Jets are the number 5 overall pick right now. They're behind the Titans, the Giants, the Browns, and the Saints. However, some big-time games on the schedule remain for the Jets in terms of the draft pick race, right? They play Atlanta in Week 13. They play Miami in Week 14. They play the New Orleans Saints in Week 16. All of those teams are also inside the top 12. So wins or losses against those teams could actually move this. Just a note, the Atlanta game, their pick has actually been traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Remember in that Michael Penix deal, I believe, a couple of years back. And boy, oh boy, does that mean the Rams could be even stocked up to kind of get their heir apparent to Matthew Stafford? But that's a different story. So right now, 5th overall pick in round 1. Then they have the Colts pick in round 1 this year, which is now number 28 overall. Their own pick in round 2, which currently stands as 36 overall. And then the Dallas pick in round 2, which is now 45th overall. Obviously, then in the following year, 2027, they have the Colts and the Cowboys first round picks. So if you are looking for the future, and the Jets certainly are right now, here's what you need to think about. If you're thinking about that kind of win for now, look good, build culture, build wins, stack wins, like Aaron Glenn likes to say, versus kind of tanking the draft, right? Here's what you need to do. All right. We need to root against the Dallas Cowboys and the Indianapolis Colts. We want them to lose, making those picks better, not only this year, but next year. We are fading the Colts and the Cowboys until further notice. Here's what I would say. We need to cheer for the Browns and the Saints. Those are teams we want to get wins and maybe go behind the Jets. And interestingly enough, the Titans and the Giants being on that list, Tennessee used the number 1 overall pick this year on a quarterback, Cam Ward. I don't think they were going to go quarterback again, back-to-back years, right? So if they're ahead of us, maybe they take Ruben Bain out of Miami or someone else, an offensive lineman to protect Cam Ward. The Giants they're probably not going to use a number, 2 overall pick, let's say, on a quarterback. They have their guy in Jackson Dart. So I think that is also interesting. But Cleveland and New Orleans are teams that could definitely be interested in getting a quarterback at the top of the draft, just like the Jets could be in the quarterback market as well. Speaking of the quarterback market, we have started to talk about these names. I think the 2 names that have come up more and more that have risen to the top, one is Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson, who I personally really like and think he might be the best of the best. But the one that the consensus is Indiana quarterback. The man's name is Fernando Mendoza. And I said this, the Jets have scouted Fernando Mendoza in person at Indiana at least 3 times this season. He led a big-time comeback win against Penn State recently that we talked about. The Indiana Hoosiers, number 2 in the country. They have the most points scored in the Power 5. And Mendoza is the favorite to win the Heisman right now. So much so that out there on social media, I can find pictures of him. There he is right there in a Jets jersey, right? There's been all sorts of edits and mock-ups of him in a Jets jersey already. And the kid sounds humble. Listen to what he had to say. He goes, the most important thing for me is winning the next game. And then the next game after that. And the next game after that. If these awards end up happening, then great. It's all good. But my goal is to go as far as we can, whether it's the college football playoff, national championship, whatever it is as a team. That's my goal, to win games here. So clearly, he has the right attitude. I'm going to put it on record now. Okay, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The Jets have the 4 picks in the top 45 that I just told you about. Then next year, they have 3 first-round picks. They have their own. They have Indies. They have Dallases. Remember, this has happened before, okay? Recently, quite frankly, the Jets had 3 first-round picks and another big-time second. You know who they turned those into? They turned it into Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Breece Hall when they had that kind of a haul, right? But here's what I'm going to say now that I think may be controversial, that I don't think people are going to love or quite frankly agree with. I don't think the Jets are getting a quarterback this year in the draft. I think it's not going to be Mendoza. I think it's not going to be Simpson. I don't think they're getting a quarterback. I think they're going to use these 4 picks and just get more and more talent on their roster at other places that are positions of need. Offensive line, in the secondary, add an edge rusher. Continue to build this roster in the way they have been doing during the draft and through trades and in free agency. And I think next year, the starting quarterback for the Jets, unfortunately, you're not going to like this, is going to be a veteran. It's going to be a veteran bridge kind of guy. It's going to be a Kirk Cousins. It's going to be a Mariota. It's going to be a Tua. It's going to be someone like that. Someone that can play in this league, but is not going to excite Jet fans. And then I think in the class of 2027, which has also a deep kind of respected quarterback class, when the Jets are a little bit better, a little bit more fully formed, then they're going to drop the quarterback in on top. That's the way I think they're going to go about it, because it is a slow build. Listen, if you drop a big-time rookie in on this lineup, and on this roster, they may not do well, and you may eviscerate their chances. I think they're going to do the slow build. I wonder if they have permission from Woody Johnson to do so, but the way it looks like, they actually do. So you're going to hear a lot about Fernando Mendoza. You're going to hear a lot about Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, and others. Lenora Sellers from Carolina. But I actually think they're going to do it the other way. They're going to build up and then drop the quarterback in, unfortunately, in the 2027 draft. People that like old Dave that want to see it now and tell me, I need a Jets victory. I'm in my 70s. I hear you, and it will be tantalizing if they have the number 3 pick or something like that, and a guy like Mendoza or a guy like Simpson is staring there. I actually think the prudent way is to continue to build and then use the incredible draft capital they have in 2027 to go as high up as they need and get the guy. Maybe it's a Manning, for example. But I digress. We got plenty of time to talk about that. We also got plenty of time to talk about the offseason because this week the Jets will face the Baltimore Ravens. Not an easy task, especially since Lamar Jackson has returned from injury. But we will talk about that all this week leading up to their game against Baltimore, where now it looks like most Jets fans probably want them to lose games so they can improve this draft capital. I actually think that there's a balance. They have the ammunition that they want to get the guys they want. I think they do still need to build some culture, stack some wins, have the experience of winning games. Let's see what some of you Jets' latest day one regulars have to say. William Savor, 2075, says, everybody kept on making excuses for Fields. I wonder why. Man can't quarterback, period. Well, the time has come. Harlan Abraham, a definite big-time regular here on Jets latest, 7772, says, Mitchell could get open. He just couldn't catch the ball. Mechie caught all the balls that were thrown to him. And these are the things we got to figure out, right? Could Mechie be a good slot receiver for us in the future? Can Mitchell work on his hands, be that thing? Like, is there a universe, I know it doesn't sound great now, where Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell, and John Mechie are our 3 wide receivers? Or is that still a need position? We don't know yet, and we're going to try to find out a little bit more about that with Taylor under center moving forward. And then the biggest day one regular of them all at Jets latest, Old Dave 1000, says, great commentary again today. Every team's course will look different. I believe this is different than Jets teams of the past. Finding the quarterback is the primary job, but knowing what else we have or don't have is imperative for our growth. This team is not as far off as many might think. Go Jets. I actually agree with that. I don't think we're as far off. I think the defense will continue to get better. I think that our run game is clearly great. I think we have to stabilize the offensive line. There's a lot of guys that their contracts are up, right, in that offensive line. We got to maintain that as a strength. And then we'll see what happens when we get competent quarterback play. We'll see what happens when we don't have a generational worst turnover margin with 1 takeaway after 10 games, right? These are things that sometimes law of averages change. So we'll see. Like I said, I know people won't like it. I think the evaluation process and the kind of stacking talent, building roster process is going to be the first part and might last this year and next year before the franchise young quarterback comes in. But I digress. Let's see what happens, and we'll talk about it right here on Jets Latest. And if you want to hear more from me, the spitting statistician Dane Martinez, remember, I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM, the fantasy channel number 87. The Jets aren't going to make the playoffs. Maybe your fantasy team still can. And so I'm here to help you win your leagues and win that cash. FTN is a great website to help you do so with all sorts of stats, data, rankings, tools to really help you out, okay? So check me out over there. You can always follow me at Spittin' Speeds on social media. Thank you to everybody growing this channel, liking these videos, telling a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. I will be here every single day going into the Ravens game, going into the second half of the season, going into the offseason, because I believe, like so many of you, that we are kind of close to being proud once again of the green and white under Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. We'll continue to talk about it tomorrow, but for this episode of Jets Latest, we out of here. Peace.